The apex predator of the African savanna is losing its crown today. Not to poachers, not to climate change, not to another large predator. The most fearsome hunter is being defeated by an entirely invisible enemy. An enemy so small you could crush hundreds under a single boot. How can a tiny insect rewrite the ancient rules of the savanna? Why are lions suddenly targeting the most dangerous prey on the plains? And what happens when the king of beasts can no longer hide? We are standing in the heart of the Pejeta Conservancy in Kenya. For thousands of years, this landscape has operated on a perfect, brutal balance. The whistling-thorn acacia trees provide the perfect cover for a hunting lioness. She relies on these trees to mask her approach toward grazing zebras. Without this crucial cover, her chances of a successful kill drop significantly. But recently, the landscape has begun to change in a very subtle way. The acacia trees are disappearing rapidly, leaving the plains completely bare and open. You might think the elephants are simply eating all the trees as usual. You would be partially right, but the real story is much more bizarre. For centuries, native acacia ants have fiercely protected these trees from hungry elephants. Whenever a giant herbivore approaches, the native ants swarm and bite its trunk. The pain is enough to force the massive elephants to retreat and look elsewhere. It is a perfect symbiotic relationship that keeps the savanna ecosystem completely stable. But a new player has secretly entered the battlefield, changing everything we know. The big-headed ant, an invasive species, has quietly arrived in this vast territory. These invaders do not protect the acacia trees from the hungry passing elephants. Instead, they aggressively hunt and kill the native ants that act as bodyguards. Without their tiny defenders, the acacia trees are completely defenseless against the giants. The elephants move in and consume the trees, clearing the landscape very quickly. This chain reaction strips away the vital cover that the lioness desperately needs. She is now entirely exposed under the harsh sunlight of the open plains. Her primary prey, the zebra, has exceptional eyesight and can spot her easily. The zebras see her coming from a mile away and escape without effort. Her traditional hunting strategy has been completely neutralized by an unseen, tiny force. She has not eaten in 4 days. She can smell the distant herds. Hunger is pushing the pride toward desperate and incredibly dangerous new hunting decisions. Stop, what you just saw. Science only understood this strange connection in 2024. This is the butterfly effect playing out in real time on the savanna. A microscopic shift in the insect world is literally starving the apex predators. So, what does a desperate lion pride do when they cannot ambush zebras? They are forced to change their target to something much larger and deadlier. They turn their hungry eyes toward the massive, unpredictable African buffalo herds. A buffalo is heavily armed with lethal horns and an extremely aggressive temper. Hunting buffalo requires an entirely different, highly coordinated, and brutally violent group strategy. The pride must work together in a flawless formation to isolate a target. One mistake during a buffalo hunt can easily cost a lioness her life. The stakes have never been higher for the pride's survival in this landscape. We watch as the lionesses fan out, attempting to surround a large bull. The buffalo senses the danger and turns to face the approaching hungry predators. He lowers his massive head, ready to crush any attacker that gets close. The lionesses hesitate, knowing the immense risk involved in this dangerous frontal assault. They must exhaust the bull, biting at his heels and avoiding his horns. It is a grueling, chaotic battle of endurance and absolute brute physical strength. Finally, sheer numbers overwhelm the giant, and the pride secures a hard-fought meal. But this victory comes with a heavy toll of injuries and extreme exhaustion. They survived today, but this new hunting reality is completely unsustainable long-term. The lions are expending more energy and risking their lives for every meal. All because a tiny, invasive ant decided to conquer a native insect colony. Now see it from where the prey is standing in this changing environment. The zebras are experiencing a period of unexpected peace and lower predation risk. They graze openly, aware that the lions can no longer ambush them easily. The balance of power has shifted dramatically, favoring the herbivores of the plains. This single moment will reshape the territory for at least a decade ahead. The buffalo population might eventually decline due to the increased, relentless predator pressure. The zebra numbers could explode, leading to overgrazing and further ecological imbalance everywhere. Nature is an incredibly complex web where every single thread is deeply connected. Pull one tiny thread, and the entire system begins to unravel and adapt. The big-headed ant did not intend to wage a war against the lions. It simply followed its own instinct to expand, conquer, and survive the environment. But instinct in the wild always comes with unintended, far-reaching, and brutal consequences. The lions are now fighting a war they do not even understand yet. They cannot see their true enemy, nor can they fight it with claws. Evolution is forcing them to adapt faster than they ever have before today. If they fail to adapt to this new reality, they will slowly perish. This is the harsh, unforgiving rule of the African savanna in pure action. Survival is never guaranteed, even for the most powerful creatures on the continent. 3 weeks later, same spot, everything has changed for the desperate lion pride. The landscape is even more barren, and the buffalo herds have moved away. The lionesses must now travel further, expending even more precious and vital energy. The invasive ants continue their silent march, completely oblivious to the chaos above. The researchers watching this unfold are witnessing a profound ecological transformation right now. It forces us to question our own understanding of predator and prey dynamics. We always thought the biggest animals held the most power in the wild. But true power often lies in the smallest, most invisible parts of nature. The next time you look at a mighty lion, remember its hidden fragility. Remember that its reign depends on the tiny insects crawling in the dirt. What surprised you most about this unbelievable connection? Tell us in the comments. Because next week, we go even deeper into something that will change everything. We will explore another secret world that challenges how you see the wild. Until then, consider the delicate balance of the ecosystems in your own backyard. Which side of this invisible war would you stand on if you could? Are you the powerful predator, or the tiny force changing the entire world? The question didn't end here. It never ends.